hopefully that gives you guys some idea on and some insight about pursuing a career as a concept artist for games and digital entertainment in general. I plan to do more of these vlogs and get into some demos and things like that. And one thing I want to make clear that what I tell my students, I really try to approach in what I say and be very objective and be from where I'm coming from. Okay, I'm not trying to be one of these guys who's trying to just promote. I'm not trying to promote my name and try to puff it up and say, oh, I'm a concept artist, I've done this and this. No, it's always from the perspective of where I've come from personally, but also with the people that I talk to, because the gaming industry is quite small, and so what's nice about it is you do get to meet a lot of people and keep ties with a lot of people in the industry. So I would never approach it as this is what they do at Ubisoft or this is what they do at EA, because I've never worked there. But if I do bring up things like that, I will preface it with, oh, this is what a friend of mine has told me who works in those companies, for example. A student will ask me, oh, what do game companies look for in level designers? Well, I'm not really sure. I can give you a general idea, but that's not my expertise. But let me ask a friend who does. So I'll do that, and I'll go, ask a friend over even MSN Messenger or whatever, and say, hey, what do you guys look for in a level designer? I try to be that kind of hub and find the answers elsewhere if I don't know it or if I'm not comfortable, have enough knowledge of that. Hopefully, where I'm coming from in my experience, helpful to younger people and those who are starting out and who are either learning in school or who maybe just finished and are trying to pursue a career in the video game industry and specifically as concept artist. That for me is important. You really have to assess what is your passion, because a lot of young people I talk to will be very enthusiastic, say, oh, I want to do this, I like drawing, I also like modeling, I also like level design, they'll like it all, and I go, that's great, and appreciate the enthusiasm. But realistically, you'll need to pick one or two, and even if you pick two, there's one you will place higher emphasis on. And two questions I have my students ask themselves is, one, what do you enjoy the most? What do you have a passion for the most? And two, what are you the best at? And they're not always the same thing. So what I mean by that is, you may say, for example, love to draw and you love to do modeling, 3D modeling. However, when you honestly look at your work and have other people assess it, they may say, you know what, you're a stronger modeler than you are an illustrator, or vice versa. Well, you can still feed both of those passions, but at the same time balance out your ambition and dream with being pragmatic and realistic about how to approach this as a viable career. So say you're a modeler who enjoys drawing, but your modeling is better and you're faster at it. Use your drawing skills to help support your modeling. And I've seen that time and time again. There are two types of modelers. So you have a 3D modeler who's exceptional at what they do, but has very little understanding or a foundation in drawing. And then you have the other modeler who does. It's pretty common when I notice the modelers who have very little understanding of drawing. They're very dependent on concepts, and it's hard for them to kind of grasp conceptually what they're creating, or to come up with things to embellish the model they're working on. Whereas those modelers who do have some drawing understanding and ability, they have a better idea of not being completely dependent on concepts, but finding the general vibe of the design and able to add to it because they're more comfortable based on their understanding of drawing and things like that. So that's an example of where what your passion is and what you're good at may not always be exactly the same. And you always have to sacrifice something, okay? You don't want to be a jack of all trades, master of none. I mean, for those people who can do multiple things and do it very well, that's not as common, and probably they were willing to put the time and effort into it. So when you dedicate time to something else has to be sacrificed. And that may change throughout your years. Like for me, it changed, and I'll go into that further specifically in terms of how do you go about finding opportunities and creating opportunities for yourself. And I think maybe that's the next thing I'll go over in the next vlog. So until then, thanks for watching, and I hope it's helpful to some of you. And if you have any questions or comments, post it. I would love to hear your feedback. as well as any Q&A that you want, not necessarily just for me, but I would like to in the future, as I said in the past, bring in other people to interview and have your questions directed at them, and I think it would be helpful to hear their answers as well. So until next time, thanks, peace.
Don't forget to subscribe.
サブスクライブください。ありがとうございました。